Talk It Up Tuesday. Good evening. Hi, everybody. So excited for you to join us tonight. We have, as promised, a special guest that we're going to reveal. You may have seen the advertisement with a silhouette of a figure that it is yet unknown. Well, I know, but you get to find out tonight. So stick around. Go ahead and comment and share. How many conventions have you been to? That's what we want to know tonight. How many conventions have you been to? And if you haven't been, say this is going to be your first one, Convention 2025. Here we go. Just go ahead and comment and share. Also, let me know where you're commenting from so we can shout you out from all over the great state of Virginia. And while we wait, I am Catrina Jackson, the convention director for HEAV. It is my very great honor and pleasure to serve as the convention director. There is so much going on. Oh my goodness, y'all. Like there's so much and so many exciting things. Like I'm semi-busting, but I'm trying to hold my composure for just, a little bit, because then, I might slip up and give something away. Which, by the way, I am giving some stuff away tonight. We have some great giveaways. You can get a... Do I tell you now or do I wait? You're right. I'll tell you now. All right. So you can win a free Apologia tote bag and book, or you could win an HEAV branded cooler bag, which is very useful. I was able to use it right away for a basketball game for my son. And it's really cool. When you unzip it on the inside the insulation, there's place for ice. So you can put like ice around the bag to make sure that it really lasts. We used it on a road trip. So totally cool bag. And then last but not least, well, actually it's not even last. I have another one, but you gotta wait. We are going to give away a free full convention registration for your family. I know. Applause, applause, applause. Me and my fireworks. So we have a fun night in store. I don't want to belabor the time, but we do, of course, like to give a few moments for folks to jump on and get involved and ask your questions and say the things. And so we're going to count down. I'm going to give it a 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. If anyone is from my generation and knows what that song was for, there'll be an extra bonus for you, or who that song was from. I bet you don't know, but you might, and I will be very impressed. So let's get started. So again, comment and share. There are some great giveaways tonight. I will remind you what those are, but let's answer the big question, right? The big question, and why we are doing Talk It Up Tuesday. What's all the hype about? What's all the buzz about? The question is, why come? Why come to the convention? I am so glad that you continue to ask this question. Let me enumerate them for you. So in addition to the things that I've mentioned in previous Talk It Up Tuesdays, we have already announced to you a couple of keynote speakers and events that are happening. And so I'm just going to remind you of some of those. And I have to read it off the list because, it's a brain thing. All right. So we have Matt Hammett from, he was a part of Sanctus Real, the worship group, and now he's a solo artist, but he will be there as a keynote speaker. Totally geeked out about it. I won't lie. So, get brushed up on all your Matt Hammett songs and be ready to sing. We have Amber O'Neill Johnston. Yay. Sonia Schaefer. We have some returning crowd favorites. Andrew Pudawa from IEW. I cannot wait to hear him speak. He's really great, y'all. Nicole Thomas. We have Jonathan Rush. We also have some unannounced speakers, so you get to hear it first. You heard it here first. Talk It Up Tuesday. Welcome, HEAV Convention 2025. That's what we're getting ready for. Make sure you're commenting and sharing this post so that you can get in on these free giveaways, because, they don't happen often. And to get an opportunity to win a full free convention registration is basically just like icing on the cake. Oh, this is like a fasting season, so let's not say icing on the cake. We'll just say it's the best salad you've ever had with all the toppings and all your favorite dressing. So We have also some add-ons for kids and teens. So one of the things that we do that is really great is if you're bringing your whole family, right? Because you have something for the kids to do so that you can go to do the other things. There's the children's program where there are activities set up for them all day long to learn, edutain, all the things. And they're great volunteers. That program it's a very well-run program. My kids did it. They loved it. It is a safe space. We have security, all the things, right? We also offer, so for while the kids are there, there's other add-ons they can do. There's our music competition. So if you have a pianist, a budding maestro, if you have a vocalist who can, I won't even try. No, not even going to attempt. No notes, not tonight. But any of those things, they play the cello, the violin, you can enter them into the music competition for a very nominal fee, and you can add that onto your package when you register, and it's a great opportunity for the kids to shine. And when they do the music competition, they get an opportunity, whoever is in that first top 3 winners get an opportunity to play for the keynote speaker. How amazing is that? I mean, it's exposure on a great level, and in a way that is still safe and safeguarding of your kids. And so it is an amazing opportunity. Please go ahead and check it out when registration opens, which we'll be letting you know that date very, very soon. So it's a stay tuned, stay on the edge of your seat, have your finger like right on the button to click here and go ahead and register. So other things that the adults can do, parents, we have Family Life's Art of Marriage Live that's going to be happening. Now, I don't know if anyone's ever been to a Family Life conference. My husband and I went to one in Norfolk. It was amazing. I mean, it was really, really a blessing. The testimonies, the couples who hadn't connected in years, and you saw their marriage get restored in your face. It was amazing. And Keith and Trish Tully just do an amazing job, and they will be with us at the convention, and you want to be there. Okay. Hey, Beth. Hi. That's one of my mom friends from my co-op. Hi. Okay. Sorry. Composure. I'm almost maintaining it. Let's see. And so that I can get you to this special guest tonight, because I know that's what you're waiting on. Let me speed it up. So there are so many things to do. And the chief reason for coming to the convention, without even looking at my notes, I can tell you, is community. One of the things that was really overwhelming when I first started homeschooling is, how do I do this? Why am I doing this? Do I really want to do this? Why? It's so much information. And it's like your brain just is, it feels like it's pulsing out of your head because there's so much to take in, so much seems like to get to know and understand. What HEAV has done is streamline that process with free How to Begin classes. They have all of the resources and information because we are right on the front lines of legislation to guard homeschool freedoms and to make sure that the law is met in every school board across this state. We've already done that work for you. The legwork of trying to pull it all together and understand the curriculums and do all the things that we overwhelm ourselves and can be inundated by. You get that when you go to the convention. You meet perfect strangers who are actually family when you go to the convention. It's really great to be surrounded by so many like-minded people. Yes, like-minded people who hold your values, and that you have the absolute 100% right as a parent to homeschool your child and give them the values that you hold dear, and that you're turning out great citizens who accomplish amazing things through the homeschooling programs that you create. That's the thing. There is no cookie cutter way to do it. You get to do it the way that the Lord leads you and the way that you know or understand to do as you grow. The thing is I don't have it figured out. I've been homeschooling since 2019, and there are days that I'm still like, what? What are we doing? Are we doing anything? And that's okay. You get an opportunity when you go to the convention and when you find out what co-ops and homeschool groups are in your area to connect and make sure that on the days that you may be struggling and lagging, you have somewhere that you can go and you can get support and you can get the questions answered and you get an opportunity to keep growing and going on your homeschool journey. And so that's what convention gets to do. And so that's my unscripted answer, because we want to be authentic, right? And as a homeschooling mom of 3, there's just way too much that I don't have to understand right now. And I've come to realize that because every year I get to grow a little bit more. I get to go a little bit further. My children surprised me today with what they understood. And I was like, I did that? Oh my God. Thank you, Jesus. And so once again, let me remind you, there are some giveaways going on tonight. So if you're just joining us, we have a free Apologia tote bag and book. We have a free HEAV branded cooler bag, which is super cool. And then we have a free full convention registration that you can win. How do you get that? Comment, share, and then you'll get entered into the drawing. It's just that simple. So go ahead and share with your friends. Tell your mom friends, jump on. You get full convention. It doesn't get any better than that. So now we also promised a guest speaker. And so without further ado, we are going to welcome someone who is a social media powerhouse. Boom, boom, boom. You know, I like sound effects. I think that's where my son must get it from. She expertly debunks homeschool myths and the shrouds that surround what homeschooling is. She's a 20 plus years of academic and administrative experience in education supporting parents. And she is awesome. I got a chance to meet her already and I love her energy. Oh my goodness, she's so exciting. And she's the author of Homeschool Rising. Insert the drum roll. You know who it is. The silhouette that you've been singing the advertisements all week is going to be Miss Christy Faith. Were you sitting on pins and needles waiting for me to get through all of that?
Although I loved what you were saying and I was being fed by what you were saying and I cannot wait. I want to know in the comments who guessed, who had an inkling ahead of time. Could you tell by the silhouette? I don't know. I think that maybe my hair gave it away. In fact, I've been looking at some of the comments and some of the ladies I know actually that have commented. So that's really cool. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here tonight.
We are very excited to have you. I am super excited, even though I have tried to stay more muted so that I don't let my excitement just run over. So we are super excited to have you. Yay. Oh, Jenna says she guessed it. She knew it.
Yay. Okay.
All right. Oh, awesome. Awesome. We're loving the love. Keep it coming. Keep it coming. All right, guys. So we have with us tonight, Christy Faith, podcaster. You know her. You love her. We are excited about what the Lord is doing and in her life. And she's ready to share. So the question that we want to open up as an icebreaker, Christy, is what is something that people would be surprised to know about you?
Okay. So this was fun because I actually asked my kids and my kids looked at me like, you're such a boring person, Mom. What are you doing? I'm like, well, you know what really surprises people about me when they find this out is because of my job and what I do and what I love is they are very surprised to find out that I am a tested, certified, true blue introvert. Really. And people cannot believe it when I tell them because I'm on social media. But what you have to remember, okay, Catrina, what you have to remember is like when I first started filming, I started out as a TikToker. When I first started filming, it was me just blowing off steam to a dot, to a camera. There was no one in the room. There wasn't a person. And so that's how it kind of all happened. But I will say I'm an introvert that loves people. So all that means is that when I'm at a convention or around a lot of people, I just schedule in a recharge day. And often my sweet mom comes over and homeschools the kids for me, usually when I get back from a flight or something. So that's one thing that people would be surprised to find out. But, you know, I had a guest on a podcast who said most podcasters are introverts. And I thought that was kind of interesting. What are you, Catrina?
I am absolutely 100% an extrovert. And but, you know, I have some introverted tendencies. I think that as I get older and maybe the whole part of the maturing process, I need that recharging moment. However, I love a crowd. I love people. life of the party kind of person. But I'm still in shock because that's not what I expected you to say.
No. And if any of you are into the Myers-Briggs, put in the chat if you guys are into the Myers-Briggs and put what you are. It's like an acronym for the letters that you are. And I have tested so many times, and I am an INFJ. It's just like that personality profile.
It's been a long time since I did the Myers-Briggs. I remember my DISC profile, but I don't remember my Myers-Briggs one. So I'll have to redo that and figure out what it is.
Yes. Okay. So Laura just put in the comments. Yeah, Laura, besties. We get all up in our head when we're introverts, but I think it's part of what makes me a good writer, because you have to be all up in your head when you're writing a book.
It's true. It's true. You have no one to talk to but you. And if you get blocked, you got to pull you out.
Right, that's right. And then can I share one other thing that I'm so excited to share?
Do tell.
Something that the question was, what is something that people would be surprised to know about you? So if you just found me on social media, on TikTok or Instagram or YouTube, you probably wouldn't know how much I love Jesus. And there's a reason for that. My platform is not a religious platform, but I am open about my faith and I love Jesus. But I am more of a homeschool evangelist and an educational expert, and I lead with that. And it's been really cool because I've been invited places that if I was just outwardly Christian, had a Christian platform, like as its definition, I probably wouldn't be invited places to share about homeschooling and I have been invited to those places. So the Lord has me in a really unique situation, and I've been in some interesting conversations on some interesting podcasts. But the Lord has always provided. And so those were the two things that and I'm so excited about coming to the convention because I get to talk about our faith and homeschooling, and I usually don't get to do that. And so this is just a thrill to be able to come and speak at your convention, and I cannot wait to meet everybody. And I'm warning you guys, I am a hugger. So just beware. If you come to my booth, you're getting a hug.
Warned, we'll have my huggable shoes on. So we stand and do the happy dance while you hug kind of thing. So we have a lot of brand new homeschoolers who are, some of them just started yesterday, right?
Yes.
And they're likely struggling with those 3 C's of confidence, criticism, and connection. So your topics are going to cover some of all of those things when you're at the convention, but we want to just ask you here.
Yeah.
Again, we hear parents who say they would homeschool, but they just don't know how. They will mess it up. And the truth be told, even experienced parents sometimes feel like we've hit the wall, been there, done that, got a t-shirt, or like we're not doing it right. What tools or supports have you found help us break through those doubts?
Well, first off, I just want everyone to know that those doubts are real and they're actually not your fault. So one thing that is so important that, of course, is in 2 Corinthians is to capture our thoughts. It's really hard for us when we live in a society where children are not valued. A stay-at-home mother who chooses to homeschool is not valued because a lot of us are giving up careers to do this. And also we are, we're on the heels of 150 years of industrialized schooling where, and if you look at the history, when as soon as teaching became a certification that is given by the government, that all of a sudden makes everyone else not qualified, just like kind of by the definition of it. And so, but you got to keep in mind that before that, the thought of having someone else educate your child was foreign. It throughout history. So I am a historian. I have a master's degree in history. And so that was fun to do my history chapter in my book. And when I was doing the deep dives, it's just incredible how just a couple of generations can completely change how we view ourselves, how we view our role in the home, how we view our God-given authority to pour into our children. And we hand our children over to strangers when they turn 5 without even thinking about it. I think that 300 years ago, women would just think that's preposterous. But yet we don't. And so the first thing that I want to say is for anyone, like if you have a naysayer in your life and they're like, but you're not qualified, just want to encourage you. Or maybe you are newer to homeschooling right now and you're like, how am I going to teach AP physics? Really, the thing to know about homeschooling is that it is all about sourcing. So I'm going to be honest here. I'm going to make a confession. I stopped teaching math at around 3rd grade. Anybody else in the comments? I source really well. And that's just something that I am a humanities girl. I'm a writer, not my strong point. And so I find incredible resources where I feel a little bit more insecure or a little bit weaker. We can shore up those gaps for our kids. And, I just think it's so important when we are struggling with self-doubt to educate ourselves. I'm a big believer that confidence comes from competence. So this whole thing right now in our society about self-esteem is it kind of cracks me up. Like, praise your kids, when you see their painting, you're a lot of parents, oh, this is the most beautiful painting I've ever seen. The kid knows you're lying. The kid knows it was crayons. It's not, Picasso. So but the thing is like, and we think that praising our children with kind of empty praise and platitudes builds their self-esteem. You know what studies show builds self-esteem? Competence in something. Competence. So when I coach homeschool moms, one of the very first things I have her do is to discover her why. And not only that, but I have her make it a statement that she can memorize that is incredibly disarming. So I asked a couple of friends today to share their why. And I wanted to share just 2 of them that were really short in terms of an example sentence to actually write down, think about, journal, brainstorm, brain dump of all the reasons why you want to be homeschooling, and then try to condense it into a very small paragraph that you can memorize, because then this will lead to what I'm going to share later. When you're in those family gatherings with those naysayers who are giving you a hard time, if you have a statement that is so personal, it's incredibly disarming. So let me give you an example. Can I share?
Yes, please.
This is not mine. This was posted today. So my friend Lauren says her why is, I started homeschooling because I want to protect their childhood for as long as possible and raise good humans that are confident, self-reliant, and know how to actually think critically. We are also prioritizing family time and giving my kids room just to be kids. And then I want to read another one because I actually saw her on the live. I knew she lived in Virginia and she did post today. So I'm so excited that she's here. We have Julie here, and her why: I homeschool because I want our family values and I homeschool because I want our family values and lifelong learning prioritized in my son's education as I work towards helping him become someone who is strong in his faith and confidently pursues God's purposes for his own life. Can we just get some, is there cheers in the comments? Are there hearts and amens?
Right.
Okay, but just whatever. Do that, okay, for Julie. And then I'm going to finish this. And I'm doing this by tailoring his education to his unique needs and interests while enjoying a flexible schedule and a safe environment to grow and thrive. Now, if you shared that to Uncle John at a cocktail party, is he going to be like? Oh, no, he's going to be stopped in his tracks because it's so personal. And on those hard days, and we're having those hard days right now, it's January, we're going into February, it's the doldrums of winter. To go on those hard days, to go back to that why statement. And I know it's bold to say, but memorize it so that you have it in your heart on those hard days, because that's going to, is the school, those 2 why statements that I read, is the school system, can it even do that? No, there's no way. There's no way. And, just the reality that the school system, public and private, okay, is that a little edgy to say? Because half of the kids that we taught at our center were at private schools. Public and private education is preparing kids for a world that no longer exists. What our kids need for the future, we know this from studies, and the school system has not come along and is not in alignment with developmental psychology, educational psychology, or what makes someone successful in life, which we know are the soft skills, the grit, the perseverance, the frustration tolerance, all of those things that we can cultivate in our homeschools. And so I truly believe, this is the thesis of my book, that there's no better place to educate a child than in a loving home with a motivated parent. So that was a little bit of a bunny trail, but I'm so passionate that there is no one more qualified on the planet than us to homeschool our kids.
And you will get all of the resounding amens from me, because I'm sitting here just saying in my head, I'm like, yes, girl, amen. Mm-hmm. Like raise my hand like church. Yes, all of that. Facebook Black Museum Monica, I guess I was so excited.
I don't know, Ann, but hi. Love you.
So let me introduce you. Ann Miller. This is the executive director and president of HEAV.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay. I didn't know that. Hi. I just see one comment at a time come in.
Yeah. So that is amazing. And yes, you just segued perfectly right into what do we say when we're in those settings and environments where someone's naysaying our decision.
Yeah. It does happen. One, join the club. It's all of us. You're in good company. And, it's so funny. Don't you think it's hilarious that we're out in society and all of a sudden when a random person on the street finds out that you're homeschooled, that all of a sudden they have become an educational authority?
Right.
Like, who gave you the gavel and the robe? It's just unbelievable. It doesn't even matter. But here's the thing, is that one thing that I talk about when we're dealing with naysayers or people that are giving us a hard time, I think the basis of this is to separate this person into two categories, one of two. And the categories are, is this someone that I see once a year on Thanksgiving, right? Is this a person, maybe this person is kind of unhealthy emotionally, maybe one of those narcissists or something, where it wouldn't matter what you said. It wouldn't change their mind, or they're just up for a fight or whatever. I prefer to coach mamas that with those types of people, of course, be kind, but really don't give them your heartfelt answers. It's not going to change their mind, right? And you know who they are. And then I'll talk about the other type of person in a second. But with those types of people, disarming with humor is always really powerful. Like, yeah, I got the kids out of the basement today to come here. Just, I homeschool because I want my kids as socially awkward as possible. You just make a joke, right? The apple doesn't fall far from the tree. One thing you can do is make a joke just to kind of get past it. And another thing you can do that I have personally found successful is you make a statement that they would agree with. Like, education just isn't what it used to be. Like, who's going to disagree with that, right? Because this is not a person that you pour your heart into. So there is another category of person, and that is this could be a grandparent that really does care, wants the best for both you and your kids. And this might be new. And he or she is curious and really wants to know. And that's a type of person where if you sat down and really explained to them, they might not come around, but they probably would, like within several years, and become your biggest cheerleader. That's the person that you invest in that could potentially be on your team and help you in the future. And so I think it's frustrating to know that people are talking about us behind our back. And it's hard for us, especially if we're the only ones in the family doing this. But I just want to say, if that is you, if you feel like you don't have support in your family, that you are incredibly courageous to be the first one making this choice. I just want to give you like hearts in the comments. Can we encourage those women who really feel alone in their family and friend group? Because it is extremely hard to be the first person doing that in your family. And I just want you to know that you're not alone. You have HEAV to support you, that when you come to the HEAV convention, you're going to be sitting among women who it's like you found your people. And you're going to get the support that you need. And your family, your homeschool family, we're here. You just don't know us yet. right? We're here and we're going to support you every step of the way through your homeschooling journey. And I just think that women are so attacked, and I think we need to say, no, they're courageous. They're courageous.
And they need to be reminded. We need to be, I'm one of them. I am they. We need to be reminded every now and then just how equipped we already are for this calling, this mandate, if you will, for us as moms and the keepers of our homes. And one of the things that you mentioned was, the history of it, and that prior to there being certifications given to teachers, that we just taught them at home. And I had this conversation with some naysayers where I am definitely a soapbox person. So I'm going to let it all hang out. I'm going to give you the full 100% of me, depending on who you are. And especially in my family, they already know. So when I got these questions, well, you went to public school. I sure did. And it was a different kind of public schooling then than it is right now. And when I think about the history of the nation, we have an entire nation that is built on people who were home educated. We didn't have always a brick and mortar school where we sent them to. That was created so that we could go to work. And that 8-hour day to sit in a classroom and be taught by those persons are because we needed daycare. And so, and it's not to downplay education, because I don't mean to do that at all. But when we balance it in light of what we are doing for our children and what has already been done by our ancestors, and they did it with less than what we know. We actually have more access and more information that we understand now than they ever did. And so even more so now, then you mentioned also resources. I am huge on the resources. 5th grade math, I'm tapping out. This is probably going to be it, right? So for those moms who are out there and they're hearing what Christy Faith is saying, know that there's some giveaways in addition to those 3 giveaways that I mentioned, of the free Apologia tote bag and book, of the HEAV cooler bag, and the full convention registration for the family. There is also going to be an opportunity to win Christy's book, Homeschool Rising.
And I'll sign the copy. So I want to know your first name.
So there you have it. It's going to be personally signed and signed, sealed, and delivered right to your door for Christy Faith. So yes, super excited about that. And this conversation is just so helpful. If it's helping you, say that in the comments. This is helping me. Or if there's more that you need to understand and know, type that too. That's what we are here for. As she just said, you are finding your tribe. Your people are out here. It's just a matter of, taking that one step. And it may just be that HEAV convention is what you need to get that one step, and where you get it all in one place. And you'll get to see Christy Faith there, along with some other speakers that we're going to announce. And our last question for you, Christy, of the evening is, what is the most unexpected or exciting thing you've discovered about homeschooling your kids?
So this was not something I was expecting, because I had an entire career in education before I started homeschooling my own kids. And the one challenge that I did not expect, and I am so incredibly thankful for, is how much homeschooling has really forced me to work on my parenting. So we often hear moms, this happened in my Pilates class. There was a woman in the Pilates class, and she's like, "You look so familiar." And I was like, "Oh, whatever." And then she placed me. And then she immediately went into, like in front of the whole class, she immediately went into, my son would never listen to me. I can't, I thought about it. My son, she had to make excuses for why she didn't make that choice. And it's her choice. We have the freedom to make choice. But one thing that I love is you hear those things. Oh, I couldn't be around my kids all day. You hear parents complaining about Christmas, the kids who are schooled. All over social media is the parents complaining about the summers and the Christmas vacations where they feel like they have to entertain their kids, or they get sick of their kids. When we homeschool, we fight for the relationships, and we stop at nothing to train our children with the essential and necessary skills to be likable people. Now, when I say likable people, I'm not saying no boundaries. I'm not an authoritarian parent. I'm not at all. But in fact, I was, and have had a lot of healing from that since, and we've had to apologize a lot and keep apologizing to our oldest child. We regret very much how we started out our parenting journey. He's now a teenager, but the one thing that I'm incredibly thankful for is how closely connected that I am to my kids, that they are to each other. Their primary relationships are where they should be, in the home with us. Now, the neighbors might look and think we're weird, we're tight knit. You know, we when we go to a basketball game, we all go. When we go to a ballet recital, we all go.
Yeah.
And we're not split up every evening. And there's seasons for that type of a thing. I'm not making judgments on that. But the overall commitment is to one another. And I am the blessing. I mean, I wake up in the morning and I think I get to be with my kids all day.
Yes.
And
yes.
so if you're not in that place yet, right now, if there are some struggles with your parenting or with kiddos, maybe some misbehavior that you're really struggling with, I just want to encourage you to keep pushing, keep pursuing, keep learning, keep trying to find resources and fight for that relationship, because it's not worth giving up homeschooling because of that emotional component. And the other thing I've realized too that goes along with this is how vital emotional regulation is to learning. And actually there was a study that recently came out and that verified this as well. It's brand new, and I can't wait to do some more deep dives on it. I don't know all the details, so I don't want to speak incorrectly about it. But isn't this something we know all along, that you know, when your kid gets frustrated and then, you know, erases the paper and crumples it and throws it across the room, you know, that's not really about math or writing. It's not really about that. The math or the writing is giving you an opportunity to teach your child vital and essential skills regarding emotional regulation. And that right there, that is the magic that's going to make them successful in life, because they're going to be an adult who can handle failure, handle setbacks,
That's right.
healthy, isn't going to fall into addiction because they can't handle their life.
Right.
This is why we homeschool. And I am just so incredibly thankful to God that Scott and I had our awakening. It actually led us to selling our company and moving to Colorado. When we moved to Colorado, the purpose was we were in Los Angeles. It was for cost of living, so I could be a stay-at-home homeschool mom. I didn't know this was going to happen when we first moved there, you know, the Christy Faith thing and all of that. So it's just been such a joyful journey for us, you know, bumps along the way, lots of mistakes. If you come to one of my workshops at HEAV, I'm extremely vulnerable. I'm just like you guys. I make mistakes just like you. Yes, I have expertise in certain areas, but it's all about coming together and having that camaraderie. And we're imperfectly doing this, but it's worth it.
Hear, hear. I love the transparency of that, because a lot of times when I'm with my co-op folks here in Williamsburg, and then even with my kids, letting the guard down, we're with no facades. We're just raw and human and in need of God's grace every single day. And so I love the transparency statement. We have some comments that were made and some questions that were asked that they're going to pull up. And so Ann asks, Christy, can you expand about the traits of a good homeschool mom?
Oh, the traits of a good homeschool mom. Well, I think number one is a growth mindset and a commitment to growing in the Lord. If you are a faith-based homeschooler, which I think most everyone on this live is, and not losing yourself or your identity, you know, in your kids, that you are a mom too. And tomorrow is your first next day as well as your kids, right? Your kids are, you know, we're starting in January. It's okay. We're on second semester. It's your second semester of teaching that fourth grader too. So have grace with yourself. And I really believe in that passage in 2 Corinthians about taking our thoughts captive. I think that our society has failed us in terms of us having thought hygiene, right? We're all about, you know, you read the Atomic Habits and you know this, and you wake up early and you exercise and you do all this. You hardly ever hear people talking about the hygiene of our thoughts. And we stay up at night and ruminate and worry and have anxiety. we can speak truth. The Bible tells us to. We can speak truth to those lies, that you're not qualified, or that who are you to do this, or you're such a bad mom, you screamed at them again today. No, those are lies. Those are lies from the enemy. And we can speak truth to that, because this is our calling. Our calling is to raise our own babies and not to hand them over to strangers all day.
Amen. And one of my favorite scriptures to lean to, and that is, be anxious for nothing.
Yeah.
And literally nothing means nothing. But by everything with prayer and supplication, make your request known to God. And so on those days where I want to pull out my hair, or even maybe the kids are pulling out their hair, because we're all frustrated. And and the beauty of it is not just me turning to scripture, my children choose the scripture. My son was reading Isaiah 30 on his own without my husband and I having to say, go read your Bible. We've had an opportunity to cultivate an environment and an atmosphere where worship is welcome. They are expected to go and to have the freedom to seek the Lord as they will at 5, 9, and 10, and to see that happening is truly amazing. And it's what you said for, the mom is you're growing too, keeping a growth mindset, because watching my children, I have learned more, I think, than even as an adult, period, as I have as a parent. And so that's amazing. Do we have any more questions or comments out there? This is very helpful and encouraging. We would Okay, Alina, congratulations.
Huge hugs to you, girl. I'm so proud.
High fives.
You got this.
You do. Please let us know if we can be of any assistance. HEAV.org, and there's all you would need to know, and all in one place. And the convention does offer free how to begin courses. So if you want to figure out how to begin homeschooling, come and see us. And one of the things that we did when my kids were younger is we didn't immediately start out with a curriculum. I said, let me get to know my kids. And so one of the advices that I gave, especially for if the kids are really young, 3, 4, just play with them. Go dig in the dirt and write letters in the mud and that kind of thing. Let's pull that comment back up and make sure I catch everyone.
And look how the other mamas are encouraging. Look at this.
Yes, first in my family. It's been 5 years. Awesome. Awesome. Thank you, Megan, for sharing that. As a nanny that's been helping me so my daughter. Oh, thank you so much, Miss Potter, for sharing that. Yay. There is support all around. That is so awesome. Gave me so much confidence. We went to our first convention in June. Started homeschooling in September. It's been the best decision for. So great. That's awesome, Britt. Yes. Congratulations. And that is awesome.
I love that. And you know what? When you guys are sharing your comments about your transformation, that encourages the mamas on here who are scared to take the leap. So keep doing that. When I go live on social media, I multi-stream on platforms, and I always, or often, if I remember to, I try to ask the veteran homeschool moms to stay. Yes. And encourage in the comments, because we have to listen to those who are ahead of us and listen to their mistakes, their pitfalls, learn from them, and be encouraged. And also, spot at the convention, spot those moms who have those high school kids or have graduated some, and ask her things, right? Ask her the path, what she would do differently. We can do this together. And ladies, we are standing on truth. We know the statistics. We know this is better for kids. The studies show that kids are healthier socially, emotionally, and psychologically. They are safer physically to be home with us and being educated in our homes. The data is behind us. It's just the world isn't up to speed with the data. Yeah.
I think they've always lagged a little bit behind, just like, they're buffering.
Yeah. But you know what? I don't think it will change, because truly the enemy wants our kids out of our home.
Absolutely.
So, 12 years of indoctrination is really hard to undo.
Very much so. Very much so. I think sometimes too, and we'll wrap it up with this, is that people assume that homeschoolers are purposefully self-isolating, and that we want to sequester our families away from all of life and living and shelter them so that they don't experience or never get hurt. And that's none of those things. We're not unaware of the wiles of the enemy and that he has a plan that he would love to destroy our families. But the way that he gets to do that is make us implode from within, because what public school education, unfortunately, the byproduct has become is that they are purposefully indoctrinating our children with things that emancipate them from their families and create this independence where they don't share, and they're allowing, and I could get on the soapbox, I'm trying to pull myself back, but they're allowing things that we really would not allow as values in our homes at any day of the week. And so homeschooling, ladies, moms, families, dads, nannies, Nana, grandma, cousins, it gives us back that freedom. It gives us back our families whole and complete, where even my husband, he got to, when he got home from work, help my daughter with her words, and just creating moments and memories with our kids that will actually shape them into fully functioning, emotionally regulated, as Christy mentioned, adults who are able to run the world. And so, Christy, thank you. Oh, wait, one more question. Do you have some specific studies that you suggest for reference as support for homeschooling? Good question.
Yeah, you can always go to NARI. The president of that organization is Dr. Brian Ray. He actually wrote the foreword to my book. I enjoyed thoroughly getting to know him, and I leaned on his research, which is peer reviewed. And I don't know when this live is supposed to end, but something that you said really struck a chord with me that I think is important for mamas to understand. When does this live end?
So
now
in my head, it was a 45 minutes. If we went an hour, then, we just make a hard cut.
This won't take long, but I go over this in chapter 3 of my book when I go over the history of compulsory schooling. So listen, people, there weren't a bunch of guys sitting around in a boardroom pondering, what's best for kids? It's just broken right now. Right. That is not what happened. That is not what happened. The public education system was created by socialists. It is a redistribution of wealth, and they were deliberate, and I have quotes in my book, they were deliberate about removing children from their homes so that they could control their thought, so that they would eventually serve the state. At that time, the reigning zeitgeist or thought of the time was utopianism. Actually, interestingly, even Christians during this time were utopians. My master's thesis was on this. Even Christians were post-millennials. And so everybody thought they were going to perfect the earth. So we need to have grace because socialism was new. They didn't know the ramifications of what it is like when it unfolds. So we have to also keep that lens and be fair that these were philosophies and ideas, and our public education system. That's why you hear people say it's an experiment. It's because it is. Right. They were idealists who created a system so that they could educate and indoctrinate children. So a good education, a proper education, an excellent education was not their goal. But if you don't look at the history, you don't actually realize that.
So I am going to avoid even commenting. I'm just going to say, yes, amen. She is absolutely correct. I am going to get your book, and I encourage all to do the same and to check out HEAV.org. And as promised, we still have those giveaways that are going to be happening. So if you've commented and shared, you will have an opportunity to win one of those 3 prizes that I mentioned of the Apologia Tote Bag and Book, the HEAV Cooler, and the full convention registration. So you can see Christy Faith. And she is also going to sign, seal, and deliver a copy of that book, Homeschool Rising, to a very blessed winner tonight if you have done those 2 things. So we are going to wrap up this live. Christy, thank you so much for coming. I hope we were good hosts for you. We are so excited to see you in June 2025 convention. Here we come. So and, did you have any parting comments, anything you want to share?
No, I just can't wait to see everybody that's going to be there and to meet everybody and talk to them. And don't hesitate ever. If you have questions about homeschooling, reach out to your state organization. You can also email me. I have a hello@christyfaith.com. My website is just christy-faith.com. Don't forget the dash. There is a dash. Christy-
I got it today.
yeah, christy-faith.com. There's no question that we don't answer. That we answer them all, and HEAV does as well. I know you guys are phenomenal. So actually, you should go to your state organization first because they are the most familiar with all of your individual laws, and then if there's just something random, you can always email me as well. But I just want you to know with those statement in terms of your resources that we're here to help you and we're here to support you through the long haul. And we can do this. We can do it together.
Well, we are doing it together. That's what I was going to say. You're going to get all of the information, the resources that you need, whether you go to us or her. We are working together to make sure that homeschool mamas get exactly what is needed. So again, thank you guys for coming tonight. Thank you, Christy, for being here. We look forward to seeing you guys at Convention 2025 and the next Talk It Up Tuesday. Stay tuned for registration dates. Good night.